Your mind is a room with a dozen televisions blaring on different channels, and you're trying to hear a single, quiet voice. A century ago, one man devised a brutally simple exercise to find the remote and turn down the volume on everything else. He claimed this was the master key to unlocking human potential. And the constant low-grade chaos you feel every day is the direct result of this one single untrained mental muscle. The surface-level problem is obvious. You sit down to work on one thing, and 60 seconds later you have 15 browser tabs open. You try to read a book, and you find yourself at the bottom of a page with zero recollection of what it said. Your attention is fractured. It's a resource that gets strip-mined from the moment you wake up by notifications, emails, and the endless scroll. We blame the technology. We blame the culture of distraction. But a writer named Charles Haanel, working in 1912, identified the exact same problem before the first commercial radio broadcast even aired. He argued the problem was deeper. The problem is internal. Our minds, left to their own devices, are drifters. They follow any current, any passing piece of driftwood, any random sensory input. We live in a state of perpetual mental reaction. A sound in the hallway hijacks us. An old memory surfaces and pulls us under for 10 minutes. We experience thousands of these tiny unconscious diversions a day. Each one is a small surrender of will, and they add up. Haanel saw this internal chaos as the primary obstacle to any form of achievement. Because you cannot build a skyscraper with a crew that wanders off the job site every 30 seconds, he proposed a fix. A training regimen that begins with an act so simple it feels almost insulting. The first instruction is to sit in a chair. Find a comfortable upright position, and then, for 5 minutes, do nothing. Absolutely nothing. That means no movement at all. You must inhibit every single physical impulse. The instruction is to become a statue. This sounds easy. It might be one of the hardest things you ever try to do. Within the first minute, the rebellion begins. An itch will bloom on your cheek, demanding to be scratched. Your foot will fall asleep. You'll feel a sudden urgent need to cross your legs, to shift your weight, to clear your throat. Your body, which has been running on autopilot your entire life, will start screaming for attention. It will generate phantom signals and amplify real ones, all in an attempt to get you to move, to react. Your job is to simply observe these signals and deny them. Let the itch burn. Let the muscle twitch. You are the master of this body, and you are issuing a single clear command. Stillness. The first few sessions are a battle. You might only last a minute before you give in. That's the benchmark. The next day, you aim for 1 minute and 10 seconds. You extend the time gradually, from 5 minutes up to 15, then 30. This exercise has a profound purpose. It is the first and most fundamental demonstration of will over mechanism. You are proving to your own nervous system, on a primal level, that conscious intention can override automatic impulse. You are learning to disconnect the wire between stimulus and response. Every time you refuse to scratch an itch, you are strengthening a mental muscle, the muscle of inhibition, of conscious control. This is the foundation. Because conquering the body's frantic signals is just learning to quiet the instrument. The real challenge is silencing the musician. Once you can sit perfectly still for 15 minutes without breaking, you move to the next stage. And this is where the world disappears. While holding the body in absolute stillness, the new instruction is to let your mind go blank. You are to inhibit thought. Try to stop thinking about anything. Of course, this is impossible. Thoughts will immediately rush in to fill the vacuum. Anxieties about work, a snippet of a song, a memory from last week. The mental chatter is relentless. It's a waterfall. And here is the critical distinction in Haanel's method. You are not to fight the thoughts. You are not to struggle with them or try to violently suppress them. That just creates more noise. Instead, you are to simply let them go. Acknowledge the thought as it appears on the horizon of your consciousness, and then let it drift by like a cloud without engaging it, without following it. You are to become a passive observer of your own mental traffic. See it, release it, and return to the quiet center. This is an active process of letting go over and over again. Each time a thought hooks you and you notice you've been carried away, you gently release it and return to stillness. This is the second layer of training. You've established dominion over the body's impulses. Now you are establishing dominion over the mind's impulses. You are training yourself to be the one who decides what gets your attention. Most people live their entire lives being dragged around by any random thought that appears in their head. This exercise severs those chains. You are building the power to withdraw your attention from an idea, just as you withdrew your attention from a physical itch. It creates a silent workshop, and an empty workshop builds nothing. But it's the only place where real construction can begin. The next step is to deliberately bring in a single specific blueprint and lock the doors. Now, the real work starts. From this state of physical and mental stillness, you are to choose one single simple thought and hold it, to the exclusion of all else. Hanel suggests starting with something impersonal and visual. Imagine a small black dot suspended in space in front of you. Your entire task is to hold the image of that dot in your mind's eye, see it clearly, keep it steady, and focus on nothing else. Your mind will rebel with incredible force. After a few seconds, it will try to flee. It will suggest other things to think about. It will alter the image, make the dot bigger, change its color, or dissolve it entirely. It will bring up your to-do list. It will replay a conversation from yesterday. It will do anything to break free from this single point of focus. And this is the moment that defines the entire practice. The work is not in the perfect, uninterrupted holding of the thought. The work is in the return. Every single time your mind wanders, and you realize it has wandered, you gently, calmly, and without any self-criticism, bring your focus back to the black dot. That is the repetition. That is the mental weightlifting. Each return is one more rep for your muscle of concentration. At first, you may only be able to hold the image for a second or two before it vanishes. This is normal. The goal is to extend that duration. You are forging a new neurological habit. You are carving a pathway in your brain that says, "I stay where I am told to stay." You practice this daily. Starting with just 5 minutes, over weeks, you might find you can hold the image for 10 seconds, then 30, then a full minute without a single distracting thought. You are building a faculty that is almost non-existent in modern humans. The power of sustained, voluntary, single-pointed concentration. This ability is a superpower in a distracted world. But Hanel's endgame was far bigger than being able to stare at an imaginary dot. He was training a mental architect, and the next stage was to swap out the simple blueprint for a far more complex one. After you have developed the capacity to hold a simple image in your mind for several minutes, you change the object of your focus. You replace the black dot with a detailed, vivid mental image of a goal you wish to achieve. A completed outcome. You are to construct this image with absolute precision, see every detail, hear the sounds associated with it. Most importantly, build the feeling of it. For example, if your goal is to deliver a successful presentation, you don't just picture yourself on a stage. You construct the entire scene, you see the faces in the audience, you feel the warmth of the lights, you hear the sound of your own voice speaking clearly and confidently, you see the slide on the screen behind you, you feel the solid floor beneath your feet. You build the scene in your mind with such sensory richness that it begins to feel real. And then, using the mental muscle you have painstakingly developed, you hold that image, you hold that scene, you live inside that mental movie to the exclusion of all else for the duration of your practice. This is the application of all that training. A weak, scattered mind cannot do this. It will try to picture the scene, but the image will be blurry, it will flicker, and then a dozen thoughts of doubt and fear and distraction will tear it apart. All the previous work, the physical stillness, the mental clearing, the single-point concentration, was to build a mind strong enough to hold a complex desired reality in place long enough for it to register, long enough for it to become a new default setting. The brain, Hanel argued, works to close the gap between your dominant held image and your current physical reality. It begins to subconsciously guide your actions, your perceptions, your intuition to align with that clear, persistent blueprint. But a picture, even a crystal clear one, is just data. It lacks the propulsive energy to create real change. Hanel knew there was a final, critical ingredient that turned a mental blueprint from a passive architectural drawing into an active construction order for the universe. That final ingredient is emotion. You cannot simply see the goal, you must feel it. While holding the detailed image of your completed objective, you must generate the corresponding emotion. You must feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you are visualizing the successful presentation, you must feel the surge of pride, the sense of accomplishment, the relief, the quiet satisfaction that comes after it is done. You have to inhabit the emotional state of your goal having already been achieved. This is the component that ignites the entire process. Modern neuroscience gives us the language for this. Emotion acts as a chemical tag for memory and importance. The brain doesn't care much about neutral, abstract images, but an image saturated with powerful positive emotion gets flagged as critical for survival and well-being. The reticular activating system, the brain's filtering mechanism, gets a new set of instructions. It begins to unconsciously scan your environment for people, opportunities, and information that are relevant to that emotionally charged blueprint. You start to notice things you never noticed before. You get ideas that seem to come from nowhere. You find yourself taking small intuitive actions that move you closer to the goal. The focused thought provides the direction. The sustained emotion provides the fuel. Without the trained concentration, you can't hold the image steady. Without the emotion, the image has no power. The two must be fused. This is the master key. It's a system for deliberately programming your own subconscious mind. You are training yourself to hold the frequency of your desired reality until your physical reality has no choice but to match it. The exercise was never about just sitting quietly in a chair for 15 minutes. It was about forging a mind that can hold the blueprint of the person you intend to become, so clearly and so persistently that circumstance is forced to get out of the way. The only question left is, what blueprint are you holding right now, unconsciously, every single second?